Speech off.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm here to do part 2 of what I added to Goodreads this month. Although I guess it's not just what I added, it's what I bought from the Audible sale. So first I'm just gonna kind of quickly go over just rereads. I bought the rest of the Little House books that I was missing. I heard that the commercial market, well, you know, the regular audiobooks that are not Braille Institute, they have a really good narrator, and I always wanted to try the books narrated by her. And I also heard that you can actually hear the fiddle playing when Paul plays the fiddle, so that sounds fun. So I bought the rest of those. I've been slowly collecting them. I bought 10 more Babysitters Club books because they were like $1 each, $2 to add to my collection. I'm slowly collecting those, and I'm slowly reading them, so I'm not tempted to buy them all at once and be crazy. And I also bought the rest of the books in the Baxter series by Karen Kingsbury that were available. I'll go into that more in another video because I want to go over all the books in that series, like the order they go in, and also which ones are available on Audible and which ones are not, which is a whole other thing. So yeah, I bought those. And then I bought The Redemption of Sarah Kane by Beverly Lewis. It was the first Beverly Lewis book I ever read. And I did not really like the Braille Institute narrator. So Audible has a better narrator, so I bought it. And weirdly enough, that one is not available on Audible Plus, unlike the rest of her catalog, which seems to be. It was very expensive. So when it was $2, I grabbed it. So yeah, now on to the new stuff. You know, it's basically the new books I added to Goodreads and also bought. So just assume I bought these. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I did get some ideas from you guys, so thank you for commenting on my video where I asked for book ideas. But I also kind of just went through my list through like the authors that I own books for and kind of went through their backlist and picked some things. So, first one I have is The Playgroup by Leah Mercer. I already own The Mother Next Door. I had not read it yet, but it sounds good. I'll probably read it this month, actually, but this one also sounded good. Breath catches in my throat and terror grips me as my daughter's favorite jumper slides into focus. Time slows. Helpless, I watch my precious little girl run into the road. Screeching tires slice through the quiet afternoon. Days from now, my friends will say the worst day of my life was all my fault. A bright and welcoming haven, the playgroup sits at the heart of the town, tucked away inside a red brick building. The nest should have been the safest place for my rosy-cheeked, pink-obsessed daughter, Florence. Run by mothers like me, I trusted my newfound friends, Alice, Beth, and Georgie, to take care of my child. But now my choice has left Florence fighting for her life. My heart pounds thinking about what I will tell my husband, James. He stayed with me through the darkest times, and I thought some space would bring us closer. But as I watch our little girl sleeping in a hospital bed, I know our relationship may never recover from this. How can I tell James what really happened if I don't know myself? I can't shake the feeling that other mothers are lying to me. They know I'd never let Florence leave the nursery by herself. We've all got dangerous secrets we want to protect, but if they expose mine, will anyone, including my husband, believe me when I say I didn't harm my daughter? So, yeah, sounds interesting. Then I got a few from Susan Wiggs. I heard about an Amish book that she wrote from Chloe from Always Booked, so I kind of went through her backlist and got some that weren't part of a series. So, first one I have is The Oysterville Sewing Circle. At the break of dawn, Carolyn Shelby rolls into Oysterville, Washington, a tiny hamlet at the edge of the raging Pacific. She's come home to a place she thought she left forever, home of her heart and memories, but not her future. 10 years ago, Carolyn launched a career in the glamorous fashion world of Manhattan, but her success in New York imploded on a wave of scandal and tragedy, forcing her to flee to the only safe place she knows. And in the backseat of Carolyn's car are 2 children who were orphaned in a single chilling moment. 5-year-old Addie and 6-year-old Flick. She's now their legal guardian, a role she's not sure she's ready for. But the Oysterville she's left behind has changed. Her siblings have their own complicated lives, and her aging parents are hoping to pass on their thriving seafood restaurant to the next generation. And there's Will Jensen, a decorated Navy SEAL who's also returned home after being wounded overseas. Will and Carolyn were forever friends as children, with the promise of something more, until he fell in love with Sierra, Carolyn's best friend and the most beautiful girl in town. With her modeling jobs drying up, Sierra, too, is on the cusp of reinventing herself. Carolyn returns to her favorite, the sewing shop, owned by Mrs. Lindy Bloom, the woman who inspired her and taught her to sew. There she discovers that even in an idyllic beach town, there are women living with the deepest of secrets. Thus begins the Oysterville Sewing Circle, where women can join forces to support each other through the troubles they keep hidden. Yet, just as Carolyn regains her creativity and fighting spirit, and the children begin to heal from their loss, an unexpected challenge tests her courage and her heart. This time, though, Carolyn's not going to run away. She's going to stand and fight for everything and everyone she loves. That was a very long description. And I need some water. Next, we have Table for Five by Susan Wiggs. Before an estranged couple is killed in an unthinkable tragedy, they designate 2 guardians for their children, a man and a woman who are essentially strangers and who have nothing in common except their compassion for the couple's 3 orphan children. Thrown into the strange semblance of family, Sean McGuire and Lily Robinson work together to establish some kind of normalcy for the grief-stricken children, and in the process discover the possibilities that make everything seem worthwhile. Okay, there has to be more to this, right? You don't just give 2 people who are not together, like, guardianship of children, right? I mean, do people actually do that in real life? Or is that just a premise for romantic comedy where they already kind of know each other and like, they're trying to bring them together to be a couple? But that's so weird. Like, I don't know. I find that concept bizarre. Like, are you actually thinking in your will, imagine if I die and these 2 raise our kids. Maybe they'll get together. Let's hope I kick the bucket. I mean, it's just a weird thought process. Like, I don't know. Maybe I just think too much and I need to, like, sit back and enjoy it. But I don't know. It really depends. I can see it, like, if they knew each other and, like, were, like, the godparents and were, I don't know. It's weird. I need to see how this goes, but anyway, whatever. Sounds interesting. And I'm assuming that they do end up together because it's Susan Wiggs. But I find the idea that they don't know each other improbable. They have to know each other at least a little bit, right? Because that's weird. Whatever. Next is The Ocean Between Us by Susan Wiggs. On the surface, Grace Bennett has it all. 3 wonderful children, a devoted husband, and a life of adventure and travel. But somewhere between her husband Steve's demanding career, raising a family, the constant uprooting, and the Navy's routine, Grace has lost her sense of self. And when a nearly forgotten secret resurfaces, her discontent comes into sharp focus. Something needs to change. She needs to change. Then duty calls. Now separated by an ocean of regrets and longing, Grace and Steve are forced to take a hard look at their faltering marriage. But when the unthinkable happens, Grace is left to face a Navy wife's worst nightmare. The cold truth that life's biggest chances can slip away while you're looking for guarantees. I'm assuming this guy's life is in danger. So, yeah. Next we have Remember Me by Tracy Peterson. I I'm reading the I think it's the Heart of Cheyenne series by her. I read the first one a couple months ago. The next one's coming out next month, so I'm excited. So I asked to see what other Tracy Peterson books I should read, and Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails said to read this one. So it's Remember Me. I think it's the start of a series. Addie Bryant is haunted by her past of heartbreak and betrayal. After her beau, Isaac Hansen, left the Yukon, she made a vow to wait for him. When she's sold to a brothel owner after the death of her father, Addie manages to escape with the hope that she can forever hide her past and the belief that she will never have the future she's always dreamed of. Years later, Addie has found peace in her new life as a photographer, training camera girls to operate and sell the Brownie camera. But during the Alaska Yukon Pacific Expo in Seattle, Addie is reunited with Isaac. And when her past catches up with her, Addie must decide whether to run or to stay and face her wounds in order to embrace her life, her future, and her hope in God. Interesting. I'll take your word for it. This doesn't sound like my kind of book, but we'll see. Next, we have Treasured Grace. I found this one on my own. This series is The Heart of the Frontier, #1. Grace Martindale has known more than her share of hardship. After her parents died, raising her 2 younger sisters became her responsibility. A hasty marriage to a minister who is heading to the untamed West seems like an opportunity for a fresh start. But a cholera outbreak along the wagon trail has left Grace a widow in a very precarious position. Having learned natural remedies and midwifery from her mother, Grace seeks an opportunity to use her skills for the benefit of others. So when she and her sisters arrive at the Whitman Mission in Oregon country, she decides to stay rather than push on. With the help of Alex Armistead, a French-American fur trapper, Grace begins to provide care for her neighbors, including some of the native populace. But not everyone welcomes her skills or her presence, and soon Grace finds herself and those she loves in more danger than she imagined possible. So yeah. Next we have Summer Romance by Annabelle Monahan. I read Nora Goes Off Script when it came out 2 years ago, and I loved it. And then last year's book sounded like it would be more of an affair, because like she's engaged to be married and she goes to her summer home where she meets up with her high school sweetheart again. So I was a little worried that it was an affair and I wasn't interested, so I didn't read her second book. I already forgot what it was called, but if anyone can tell me if there is adultery in it, or if she breaks up before getting with a new guy, I'd appreciate it, because otherwise it sounds, I don't know, I liked her writing style. Anyway, this one sounds like she's fully divorced, this new one. Summer Romance by Annabelle Monahan. I heard about this one, well, I've heard about it all over the place, but Courtney, I think her name is, from Ravenclaw Reads, just read it, so I bought it. Benefits of a summer romance: it's always fun, always brief, and no one gets their heart broken. There aren't enough labeled glass containers to contain the mess that is Allie Morris's life. Her mom died 2 years ago, then her husband left, and she hasn't worn pants with a zipper in longer than she cares to remember. She's a professional organizer whose pantry is a disgrace. No one is more surprised than Allie when the first time she takes off her wedding ring and puts on pants with hardware, overalls count, right? She meets someone, or rather, her dog claims a man for her in the same way he claimed his favorite of her 3 children by peeing on him. Ethan smiles at Allie like her pants are just right, like he likes what he sees. The last thing Allie needs is to make her life messier, but there's no harm in a little summer romance, is there? I don't know. Sounds good to me. I mean, geez. There's nothing quite so romantic as to meet a guy after your dog peed on him, right? Next is Never Fall Again by Lynn Blackburn. I heard about this one from Tales and Treats with Tay. She said she didn't love it, but she also said it was because it wasn't what she expected. But based on her description, I think I might like it. Landry Hutton has spent 3 years rebuilding her life behind the secure gates of The Haven, an exclusive resort on the outskirts of Gossamer Falls, North Carolina. As the artist in residence and with her property prized by the Haven's guests, Landry is finally ready to settle in permanently. She wants to give her daughter Eliza a safe home to grow up in and hires former Marine Callum Shaw to handle the construction. Cal grew up in Gossamer Falls and always knew he would someday join his family's business. He longs for a family of his own, but has almost given up on that ever happening. Landry is funny, gifted, and everything Cal could ever want in a partner, but he vows to keep his distance. Landry has a daughter and a past. Cal has been down that road before and barely survived when the woman he loved left, taking her 2 sons with her. He can't bear to lose like that again. Before construction on the house can begin, Landry's pottery is destroyed in a suspicious fire. It soon becomes clear that Landry and Eliza are in grave danger. But because of whom? But after losing one relationship, he is hesitant to try again. Sounds cool. And suspenseful, kind of. Family drama either way. Next, we have A Time to Dance by Karen Kingsbury. I've been wanting to read this for a while, but then, I kept kind of putting it off because she kept coming out with newer books. This one is one of her older ones. Chloe from Always Booked just read it, and she liked it, so figure why not? It was cheap on Audible. John and Abby Reynolds are the perfect couple, envied by their friends, cherished by their children, admired by their peers. But John and Abby know they're just pretending to be happy. In fact, they're waiting for the right time to tell the kids they're going to divorce. But at the family meeting where they plan to tell their children, Nicole shares a surprise of her own. She's getting married. How can they spoil her joy with their announcement? They can pretend a little longer, until after the wedding. But questions begin to haunt them as the date draws nearer. What happened to the love and commitment that held them together for so long? Is it still there somewhere under all the pain and misunderstanding? And is it still possible, alone in the moonlight on an old wooden pier, to once more find a time to dance? Then the sequel is A Time to Embrace. So, sounds good. Then I was reaching my last day of the sale, and I decided to just put in like keywords, like buzzwords that kind of just get me excited. And one of those is midwife. I don't know why I like stories about midwives. I mean, childbirth can be kind of, I'm not that interested in the mucus plug of it all. Not to be gross, but, I do enjoy the whole, historical fiction of it all. And did the kid make it? Did it not? Like, that kind of thing. The excitement of it. So, I found 3 midwife books. So, first one is The Secret Midwife by Soraya M. Lane. London, 1995. When, on the 50th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz, a news broadcast runs an appeal for information on the identity of a midwife who saved hundreds of lives, Amelia knows it is time to finally tell her story. Occupied Poland, 1942. Despite the constant presence of German soldiers in her village, Amelia is allowed certain freedoms as a midwife. The most precious is innocently cycling past Nazi checkpoints to the homes of expectant mothers on her rounds. But Amelia has a secret. For years, she's also been visiting the hidden Jewish mothers and working for the resistance, until she is betrayed. Suddenly a prisoner of Auschwitz, Amelia is surrounded by horror and despair. When she is put to work as a midwife in the camp, she realizes that she has a chance to bring a small glimmer of hope to the pregnant women of Auschwitz, alongside a brave imprisoned Dr. Alexei and an innocent outcast Lena. She comes up with a dangerous plan, a plan that, if discovered, could mean a fate far worse than death. But if they act undetected, they could save countless lives. Sounds good to me. Next we have The Last Midwife by Sandra Dallas. There was another book that I just added to my TBR a few months ago by Sandra Dallas, but I can't remember what it's called. It had to do with the Spanish flu, I think. Anyway, I can't remember, but yeah, this one also sounds pretty good. It is 1880, and Gracie Brookins is the only midwife in a small Colorado mining town where she has delivered hundreds, maybe thousands of babies in her lifetime. The women of Swandike trust and depend on Gracie, and most couldn't imagine getting through pregnancy and labor without her by their sides. But everything changes when a baby is found dead, and the evidence points to Gracie as the murderer. She didn't commit the crime, but clearing her name isn't so easy when her innocence is not quite as simple either. She knows things, and that's dangerous. Invited into her neighborhood's homes during their most intimate and vulnerable times, she can't help what she sees and hears. A woman sometimes says things in the birthing bed, when life and death seem suspended within the same moment. Gracie has always tucked these revelations away, even the confessions that have cast shadows on her heart. With her friends taking sides and a trial looming, Gracie must decide whether it's worth risking everything to prove her innocence. And she knows that her years of discretion may simply demand too high a price now, especially since she's been keeping more than a few dark secrets of her own. So basically, when they're in the throes of labor, these women talk too much. And she knows stuff. Anyway, I think... Okay, two more. Next we have The Midwife's Promise by Eliza Graham. Sophie's hand trembles as she places the birthday card onto the creamy wood of her dresser. This one postmarked from far away and signed with a name she's never forgotten, despite their years apart. Downstairs, guests wait around a colorful pile of gifts. Happy 90th birthday, Sophie. But Sophie has a gift of her own to give today. A tattered collection of photographs she's never shown anybody. Holding it to her heart, a single tear slides down her wrinkled cheek. New England, 1992. Oh. I don't know why they put the time for the modern day. They put it in a weird spot. Never mind. Okay, France, 1942. Sophie is folding Camille into her arms, kissing her daughter's hair. She's smiling through tears at the plaintive cries of a tiny, perfect newborn baby, her first grandchild. As a midwife, she's helped so many take their first breath. But this is special. In the street outside, Nazi soldiers patrol day and night, and each week more people disappear. Sophie clenches her fists and vows she'll do anything to save Camille and her baby from that fate. But when evil has stolen everything you know, even the truest promises are tested. Sophie swore she'd give her life for her family. How could everything have gone so terribly, heartbreakingly wrong? That's a little scary. Did her daughter, die or something? And the last series we have is Guiding Emily by Barbara Hinsky. I actually heard about this. There's a movie on Hallmark called Guiding Emily. It just came out. And I did not know it was a series until a new booktuber I signed up for. I think it's M's Books Are Everywhere. She's reading the series. So, yeah. Audible has the first 3 books. But they don't have books 4 and 5, which is annoying. But I'll take what I can get. They're pretty expensive on a good day. So today, or when I bought them, like literally Sunday at 11:55 p.m., 5 minutes before the sale was over, they were $2. Anyway, so it's called Guiding Emily by Barbara Hinsky is the first one. Sometimes the perfect partner has 4 paws. Emily Main had it all. A high-powered career with a leading technology giant and a handsome fiancé bounding up the corporate ladder. Their island wedding and honeymoon were idyllic until a tragic accident causes her retinas to detach. Her well-ordered life is shattered as all treatments are unsuccessful and she slips into blindness. How will those around her cope with her tragedy? Can she rebuild her life in this most unwelcome new normal? Meanwhile, a black lab puppy named Garth fulfills his destiny to become that most esteemed of all creatures, a guide dog. Guiding Emily is a heartwarming tale of love, loss, and courage as Garth and Emily make their way to each other. So, yeah, that's the beginning of that series. I'm probably going to wait until either October during Visual Impairment Awareness Month or January, which is World Braille Day and Blindness Awareness Month. I'm not sure when, but I always want to save any books about blind characters for those times of year because they're so hard to find. I'd actually prefer a book about somebody who was born blind like I was, because honestly, in some ways it's a little depressing to read about how depressed people are as they go blind, because I don't have experience with that. I was just born that way, and people don't believe me, but I truly don't care. Like, I don't miss it, because I never had vision, so I've never been sad about it. But people weirdly, like I said, just do not believe me. Anyway, if you want to ask me more questions about that, you can post them in the video I'm going to link in the description box. I'm trying to gather lots of questions for my upcoming Q&A. I'll probably do it this weekend since I've been sort of putting it off, waiting for really riveting questions. I've gotten some pretty good ones, but I'm honestly surprised I've not gotten too many about blindness in general. In some ways it's refreshing, and in some ways it's surprising. Anyway, if anybody wants to leave a question on that video, I will leave it in the description, and you guys can go and, post your riveting questions for me. So yeah, otherwise, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.
Stop recording video.